before we actually get started, we did want to for this conversation, we're actually going to be chatting with Millie about your new project, your third collection with actually, which is the third Made by You collection. So, Millie, let's jump in a little bit as far as like, you're back with another exciting Millie by You collection, as the youngest ever collaborator. What excited you about creating with Converse again?
Well, I mean, our relationship, my relationship with Converse have been maybe for about over 2 years now. And I started when I was about 14, and I was flying to Boston to the Converse headquarters, creating my first collection with them. And it always felt like they encouraged me to be the best version of myself and always staying true to who I am and never try to alter my ideas, for like consumer purposes. It was always just like, no, if this is what you want, we're going to sell it. And it felt so nice to hear that, and I felt like, okay, well, now I can really create and I have this free range to do what I want. And so having it being done this month when we are really embracing women, which we should be doing that all year round, but we'll give ourselves a month.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it felt right this year to be able to, I'm 17, I'm getting into that kind of world where I want to start talking about those types of things. And so it only felt right to be able to do it with the people that have been with me for a really long time and help me collaborate on something that's really, really important. Hi, Yara, by the way. I just saw Yara Shahidi's on here. Hi, I miss you. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, working with Converse on this, it just felt organic. It felt natural to do.
Yeah, that's incredible. And, so you're part of Converse on this incredible design. Tell me, what about your creativity kind of stood out when you were selecting the part? And like, is there a connection between the two of you as far as like you and Pauline? Like, how did that happen?
Well, obviously the idea got brought to me. Hey, we really want to do this. What do you think about this? And I thought, oh my gosh, of course, this is an amazing idea. And thank you so much for having me be a part of that. Now I had that conversation, I had to then choose a collaborator that I wanted to collaborate with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always so difficult because I have such an idea already. So collaboration for me has always been, it's been a tricky one. I'm always like, but the first person I saw got sent to me was Pauline. And I thought to myself, okay, well, if it gets better from here, then it's going to be a hard decision to make. And I just couldn't stop thinking about hers. It was the graphics, the colors, and I just felt like her aesthetic was mine. And I just felt like the way she her Instagram page, like the way it was looking was like, okay, this is what I want my shoes to look like.
Yeah.
So we need to get her on board. And so I felt like it was kind of strange. And if Pauline comes on and speaks about this, I felt like, okay, well, I've chosen her. Mm-hmm. Now I'm just going to go straight into collaborating. So I'd asked Converse if I could just start creating more of a friendship with her. Mm-hmm. So I wrote her this very long letter explaining why I wanted her to be a part of it. And it's something that if she wanted to do with me as well. And so it was really nice. She wrote me one back, and it felt really nice to be able to just have that communication before we jump into something so big.
So powerful, so incredible. What was it like collaborating digitally, right? This is a whole new process. Like, were you working over Zoom or in person? Like, what was that experience like?
Well, I mean, I've been doing it for a really long time because obviously of COVID and everything. So, I've only just started getting back to work. Mm-hmm. So Zooms, things like that, that's quite natural to me anyway. Collaborating a shoe and creating a shoe is quite different because you're having to choose colors that aren't there mm-hmm. in person with you and fabrics.
Right.
Which is really difficult because when I went and created my first collection with Converse, I was actually in Boston, creating it with a creative designer literally where the first pair of Converse were made. I'm like, okay, so this is the fabric that I want. And I actually got to get shoes and create them myself. So it was really hard. I was like, well, does that blue look like it would in person? Would that, you know, and I was really trying, you know, mint green, would that work with this? And so it was really hard to be able to get the gist of that. But just collaborating was easy on Zoom. It's just trying to create a shoe that looks good on Zoom is a bit of a different story.
Got you. Got you. And so kind of one of the other things I wanted to ask you about is like this drop is tied to women's. You kind of alluded to that language at the beginning of the conversation. Launching, you know, intentionally after International Women's Day. How did that inspire you and play a role in the design you opted for?
Well, I knew that this was obviously going to be a part of kind of Women's Month. And so I was like, okay, so how are we going to play that into the shoe, and how are we going to make that look transparent? So when you look at the shoe, you immediately think girls.
Yeah.
And I mean, it means a lot to me because not only am I just a young girl in general trying to navigate life, I'm also in a very much a male-dominated industry, and it can have its challenges and its struggles, and so I've actually first-handedly dealt with that, not to an extent of what some of my inspirations are. You know, they've paved the way for me,
yeah,
thankfully. You know, but I have been in a situation where I felt like I wasn't looked at as an equal, and for me, that's always been so important for me to speak about, because unfortunately this is still going on. So having that show in the shoe was like, how do we get that message across?
Yeah.
So, you know, going on to set, most of the guys are men, you know, and I have this, you know, I see this one girl in the camera department, and immediately every day I give her the biggest hug, and I'm like, you know, I'm so thankful you're here and you're doing this. You're so strong. And so immediately I thought that, you know, and so that's what we did on the shoe. And Pauline had her ideas as well, which is great. And I guess it's not just even about being in this industry. It's just in general, friendship with girls, girl code is so important, and empowering each other, you know, only creates more empowered women. So I feel like that was really important for me. Sorry for the long answer.
No, incredible. We need more women in the industry in these positions, and so it's incredible that we have leading women like yourself opening those doors and making this place more inclusive. Thank you so much, Millie. I'm now gonna jump to Pauline and bring her in.